In this video, you're going to see the future.
Mr. Bill Gates.
Welcome to the weekly rundown. Last week's podcast video file corrupted, and we just were not able to share that anywhere. It is, however, available on Spotify through the link down below, and we're sorry for the technical difficulties. We hope that you guys get to see this podcast. We've been really excited about doing this. I think we got it figured out better than we have in the past couple weeks. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this will come out pretty nice. I'm hoping you'll be able to see us, be able to see our shirt, because I'm wearing a shirt today. You might not be able to see it, though. Who knows? So last week's podcast, we highlighted a few times that Bill Gates is another doctor who just does some weird stuff behind the scenes, and also doctor.
Sure.
So we're gonna get into his whereabouts in a little bit, but before we go into that, it was election day this week.
It sure was.
It was the start of a red wave, and I am mighty excited. I think that we very possibly could see one of the biggest red waves we've ever seen in 2022.
Oh yeah, it sure was.
After today, it was very promising, this week's election results. So I know Nicole did a lot of research into this.
Yeah, so of course it was elections, but it was also a lot of ballot measures on issues such as taxes, infrastructure, constitutional rights, and gambling. So it was like a good mix of them from all sorts of states. Texas approved a cap on homestead taxes for surviving spouses of disabled individuals, and extends homestead tax exemptions for surviving spouses of military members killed in action of the spouses of those people on duty.
Yeah, that seems like a continuance on kind of what.
Yeah, I kind of liked that. That's why I wanted to mention it, because it's that's just a little extra stuff that they were working on. And honestly, I kind of agree with it.
Yeah.
A cap on it. In New York, there was an amendment that would enshrine the right to clean air, water, and a healthful environment. So that's what New York wanted to focus on. Maine kind of did the same thing too. But made it a constitutional right to grow, raise, harvest, produce, and consume the food of an individual's own choosing. And it's the First Amendment of its kind. So how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that's necessary?
I think it's actually kind of interesting.
Right?
It's pretty much just ensuring that, everyone has access to food.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You can always grow it there.
I think it's very important. I think
absolutely,
because we were talking a little bit before this podcast about Biden's Build Back Better plans, and some of those plans ended up funding certain races of farmers, certain, just certain farmers in particular.
Yeah.
And I think that's a step that we're seeing, that a lot of different states are taking steps to go against Biden's measures and say, this is not fair. We need to allow everybody to have a right to succeed, everybody to have a right to do, farming. Very basic.
Yeah, kind of gives a little bit of respect for Maine. I kind of like. Is that a red state or a blue state? Do you guys know?
I believe Maine is blue.
Blue? Yeah.
I want to go back to New York. What do you mean by enshrine the right to clean air, water, and a healthful environment? What does that mean?
Probably green energy.
Yes, but
I didn't really look into it, but that's what I assumed is what they are talking about when it says clean.
When you say that Maine is creating a constitutional right to grow, raise, and harvest produce and consume the food...
Right, that's a right to food.
Right!
I'm sorry, I can tell you what that is. When
you tell
that to me, I can tell you back exactly what that means.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that means that we're going to protect farmers and we're going to protect people that want to grow crops themselves.
Right.
What does enshrine the right to clean air, water, and healthful environment mean?
I'd say it's not as good as Maine. Maine.
What does it mean?
Sounds a lot better.
Right. Tell me what it means. What I understand what clean air, but what does
I think it's meant to be a clean environment, clean planet.
Yeah, but
Like
that's such
recycling and
Yeah,
stuff.
like global warming.
that just seems like a
Climate change.
Oh,
that just seems like a
yeah.
BS. Like, oh, we're gonna handle climate. Like, okay, what are we voting on this for?
Right.
Like, good job.
Like, we know you're gonna do it anyway, whether or not we vote for this.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm just confused by, like, why?
I know. I feel like New York is just not really good with their priorities anymore. I don't know if they've ever have in the past, but definitely recently their priorities are just not what I would want.
Yeah, Hochul and Adams, Eric Adams. I don't know. If
Oh,
you-
yeah, I'm going to mention them.
So, those are definitely people that we're going to have to watch and see what they end up doing, because they might be Democrats, but it's new leadership.
I feel like they should have done a special election for a governor with this election cycle. Like,
I agree.
why is this unelected lady just running New York State?
Right, and
There's an election
mandating
next year.
masks, which
So
I've
they should've
already
done it this
mentioned
year.
plenty of times. It's
Yeah.
not necessary.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I understand the thought process behind, like, what you're saying, where it's like, hey, this was, what's the last guy? Cuomo's leadership. So we should probably just sink the entire ship, get rid of
Right.
everybody. I understand what you're saying, but I don't know. It's one more year. I guess, yeah, we probably could have done a special election, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had better hopes for this girl, but
Yeah.
She does seem kind of crappy.
yeah.
New York's come out multiple times recently and said that they don't know how to count anymore. I forget what story it was this week, where they just had a massive counting error. I gotta pull up. I gotta figure out.
Oh
what
yeah,
it was.
didn't you
Oh,
post something like
yeah.
that on your Instagram?
Yes, I definitely did. I just cannot remember what the post was about right now.
Yeah, I think I heard something about it on a video I was watching.
I don't know why.
And they were like, oh yeah, even with computers, they still don't know how to count.
Yeah.
I think it was vote. It might have been vote tallies then.
Yeah.
It might have. Yeah. Okay. So it's probably. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was miscounted vote tallies.
Mm-hmm.
They can't count. We can't even trust New York to 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Of course not.
Well, have you seen the education system Democrats put in place?
We experienced
Oh,
it.
honey,
We
I
lived
would
it.
love to do like a whole topic on the
Common
education
Core counts till
system.
10, you have to figure out how many legs each cow has.
Jeez.
It's so unnecessarily complex.
I remember, like, right when Common Core hit, because my sister's 4
I
years younger
remember
than me.
too.
So my mom would be like, you're in this kind of stuff. Like, I don't understand any of this. Why don't you try to help your sister? I had no idea what she was doing. Because I guess I just missed, like, Common Core in like,
Really?
middle school.
I got
Yeah.
Common Core.
Yeah, no,
started-
your age had to. Technically, my age had to, but I was a
Yeah.
year ahead in math, so
probably
I
got
missed
was
it.
the last one.
Wait, I
Yeah,
We did not
and what
have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, then
a year
maybe
ahead.
I
I
was,
thought your
but
grade
like
was the start of it.
My grade is the start.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but
like,
I was a year ahead.
see, maybe I was just far enough along my math career.
Maybe it's
To
the
where it's
school.
like-
I mean, I
maybe.
don't know.
No. But like my sister was doing this stuff, so it was the same
Yeah.
school district in general, But
Oh.
I just, I don't remember like doing like Common Core specifically.
Yeah, I had to like learn it to teach my sister, to help my
Oh,
sister
you
learn it.
missed out so much.
Yeah, I know. They made us do a test just to see what it's like, and we all
Yeah.
failed. And we were in honors, and we failed.
See, me and my entire family, we learned our multiplication tables.
Right.
We learned from flashcards. We learned from this and that. From just, okay, this times this equals that, and it will always equal that, and I need to remember that this will always equal that. It's circles, and it's...
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, the way
is
that they do
this?
it now is like more algebra driven and to help them prepare more for algebra, which I can see how it does. So, but yeah.
I feel like it's somewhat driven towards like proofs as well, because I just remember like you have to like...
Oh, I hated proofs.
It's like they're trying to get you to understand what you're doing, but I don't think that like doing these circles and stuff
Right.
is helping. I don't like my sister struggled in math, and I do believe that that's a big part of it, just because it's like, okay, this did not need to be this hard.
Yeah, they're like experimenting on the kids.
Yeah, like we could have just taught her multiplication tables. We probably should have just tried to say,
or teach
screw
them
this
both.
No, exactly. Screw this. You're gonna learn this Common Core in school, but here we're gonna teach you how to actually multiply.
Yeah.
We're gonna show you the multiplication table, and you're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys remember back in like 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade? I don't know if you guys did this, but we used to do like math quizzes. We used to do like every day you get a minute and you get a sheet of math, and however many you got is the score. And because you're looking for speed and you're also looking for, okay, if you're just putting down numbers, you're not going to get any points. But like, and then we had I don't know if it was the same, like we had it probably was the same just because, obviously. But we had like, oh, you're an A and then you're in B and then, oh, I got up to C and I got up to D and then, you go through all, you want to get, or I forget exactly how they did it.
I did it by rows.
Yeah, it might have been that. But no, but I'm saying like where you can move up in different levels and then like you're proud to be in a different level.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I did really good on my math the other day. Like, I'm happy.
Big math.
Big maths.
I do want to talk about one more thing with the election results. Texas responded to restrictions imposed during COVID-19 pandemic. And I honestly respect that a lot because I think there was a lot wrong with how we handled the pandemic. They prohibited the state or any politician subdivision limiting religious services and organizations, and it will establish a right for residents of certain facilities to designate an essential caregiver for in-person visitation. So this would have been nice with my grandpa who had cancer and he was on hospice care. And nurses had to go into the hospitals, and so my grandpa didn't have a caregiver. So that would have been like really awesome to have, because then my mom didn't have to take the responsibility, because she's a nurse as well, to take care of her father and help him safely pass away.
Yeah.
Like it was a horrible time. He passed away in our house because of it.
Imagine working for hospice for free.
That sounds.
I know,
horrible.
right?
It's like, I can imagine you get some form of PTSD, maybe not like...
Yeah, and Cuomo was
PTSD
like sending her
specifically.
emails every day like, you have to go in the hospital because you're a registered nurse. And she's like, no, sorry, I gotta take care of my father. So I'm glad that Texas did this. It makes it so easy for a liberal to become a Republican now. Yeah. It really can.
It's just...
because of stuff like that.
See, and you know what I think it is? I think deep down we are all somewhat libertarians. Mm-hmm. We don't want anybody to bother us, and if you're going to protect people's rights, even if like you're not religious, I'm not religious, but I believe that people who want to practice a religion should be able to practice a religion. I believe that people should be able to go to religious services and have certain
even
rights.
Funerals.
Yeah.
We couldn't have many people at his funeral, at his wake.
What is a Zoom funeral?
Like that was I was just so messed up over it because they would only allow 15 people in a room. So like we all couldn't be together, and it's crazy because there was actually my grandfather's aunt also had COVID. She was like 50 something. Of course she survived because
Yeah.
COVID's deadly, though. Very deadly. And yeah, people like judged her the entire time. She wasn't allowed in the thing. It was like segregation.
Absolutely.
Like wouldn't let her see her brother.
And it really does feel like you remember the signs of the whites and colored only. It really does feel like the vaccinated and unvaccinated only. When Jimmy Kimmel goes on his TV show and says that the unvaccinated shouldn't have access to hospital beds, shouldn't have access to... You shouldn't even be allowed in the hospital. When you say that, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, that's not... we would never say that of your party. We would never wish that you guys die, that you guys don't get medical attention when you need it. And that's a crazy thought to me that people on your party...
Again, what happened to my body, my choice?
Yeah.
What happened to it?
Shouldn't we all care about everybody's health? Shouldn't we all care? Sit here and say
And their
everybody-
preferences, even if they're like Jehovah's Witness and refuse blood transfusions
Absolutely.
that are necessary, you got to respect that.
Yeah.
Even if it isn't scientific, you know? So.
What you want to put in your body, you go right ahead.
Oh, careful, we might get banned. So red wave elections in Pennsylvania and Virginia, and there was one in Ohio. So, of course, Pennsylvania Supreme Court, Kevin Brobson, he's Republican and changed from Democrat. All of these did, by the way. Yeah, so Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, and I will definitely dive more into that one.
Wait. Are you... I thought you were saying... Are you saying that Brobson's seat before was a Democrat and then it became Republican, or are you saying he flipped?
No, he didn't flip. Yeah, it was somebody else.
Okay,
that
I thought
was
you were
Democrat.
saying that.
Yeah, and that happened with all of these too, by the way.
Yeah.
In the red wave.
Okay.
And Virginia Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears, and I definitely would like to mention about her too.
Yes.
Yeah. Virginia Attorney General Jason Myers.
Wait.
Something?
Winsome Sears, we're gonna put the picture up here.
Oh yeah.
Right here. The picture's gonna
she's
be
pretty
right
cool.
Here. She's a dope woman.
Yeah, she really is.
Really excited for her.
Yeah, so I can't wait to talk about her. So yeah, like I said, all the rest remain blue or red as previous of the elections. So it was definitely a red wave.
Before we pass on to every other election, let's talk about Jersey for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Murphy won. But nobody saw it being anywhere close to that. And a big...
Yeah, didn't it jump?
Yeah, it got very, 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 very close. And...
I had a feeling you would mention this.
The issue... So, we probably could have won Jersey. But we spent all of our funding in Virginia because that was important to us.
Yeah.
The issue is... The people that... Now, this is a funny turn of events. The people that were did not support Glenn Youngkin ended up putting out flyers to individuals, to moderates and probably liberals, trying to shame Youngkin by saying that Donald Trump endorsed him. Sent out flyers to everybody in their town.
Why are they so obsessed over Trump? And I'll definitely talk about that with
It was self-advertising. They
Terry
advertised for
McAuliffe.
Youngkin.
Yeah.
This guy's not supported by Biden, who's messing up this country.
Right.
We probably did not need to spend as much money in Virginia, and we probably could have won Jersey.
I think so too. It was a really close call. I think when I looked at it last, it was 48.8% for Jack Ciattarelli. Yeah.
I think that's the name.
Yeah.
I don't want to...
He was 48. The other
Ciattarelli.
guy was 51.2 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was really close, but I actually saw it closer than that. It was a
Oh, yeah.
50...
He was leading at one point.
49 or something.
He was leading by half a percentage point at one point, with 95% of the vote counted. He was leading.
Yep.
It was so close. We got so close. It would have been amazing.
I know. But it's okay. We had a couple.
I think it'll be a sign for the GOP next year.
Next year, for
I
sure.
think we can't overlook.
I hope so, at least.
We need this red wave.
Yeah, we
need
do.
to,
It's really
pedal
bad and
to-
radical right now.
Pedal to the metal. Red wave.
Yeah.
But we already somewhat missed it now because Biden's plan is going to go into somewhat fruition. But maybe we can get somewhat of a stop.
I hope so, because right now it's just not... I don't want this vaccine mandate to be a thing, because I think it's highly unethical. I think that's getting passed in January.
I don't think I'd have as much of an issue with it. I mean, definitely would still have an issue with it. I'm not saying that I would change my mind on the issue, but if there wasn't a treatment for COVID, then I could see a mandate being
Guys.
more reasonable.
So now this might be telling to our viewers of when this came out, when we recorded this. Mandates went official today.
Oh yeah, all the paperwork came out for it. They
Everything's
For
January 4th.
OSHA?
Yep, January 4th. You must be vaccinated by January 4th. If not, your company faces $13K to I believe $136 or $138,000 fines.
Yeah, this is only
Per employee?
I believe so.
It's for only the companies with over 100 employees.
Yeah,
which is
well,
a
that's
lot of
me.
Most
them.
companies.
They actually
Well, not
have a
most companies,
provision
but-
in there right now that right now there's like a public comments like open right now, I think. And after that like 30 or 60-day period or whatever it is, they will determine if they're going to extend it to companies that are also below 100.
What
And
the heck?
And guys, as we've seen throughout COVID, it's one step here,
Mm-hmm.
and then this next step, and then this next step.
Vaccine
And
Well, it's
then
either
this
that or you get
mandates.
tested every week for COVID.
They're
That's
getting
true,
rid
but
of it.
it's not free anymore.
You must be mandated.
I
They're-
didn't think they were getting rid
insurance.
no,
Yes,
you,
I literally watched the news like an hour ago.
yeah.
No,
They're
you-
acting
um,
as if. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I can see that on
still
YouTube.
get, like the testing instead, but your employer's not financially responsible for that test.
Oh, that is so.
Yeah.
I thought they weren't
what is
financially
it, like
responsible for it before.
$75 a week
That's so.
on top of the probably
Yeah.
about $50 in gas a week, on top of the already skyrocketing grocery prices.
My tank
You
costs,
can
Everything.
get groceries.
my tank costs $80 to fill up.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
what did it
going
used
up.
to be?
It was 70 a few months ago. It was like 65 when I first got the car.
Wow. I remember when it was 33 for me for the whole gallon, the
I was
entire
in the
gallon.
20s. Now it's at 40.
You said the same.
And then at the beginning of
whole
Biden's, it
gallon?
was 40s. No, late. High 30s, and then now it's mid 40s. Like
Yeah.
it was a huge jump.
Mine's like upper 40s into the 50s.
Let's go, Brandon.
Mine is $80.
It's disgusting.
That's
I
horrible.
haven't even, like, to be honest, I haven't even filled it up really, like, recently, just because it's like, this is
$80.
$80 right there. And that's like in
Yeah.
a week.
Wow.
I love my truck.
Yeah, I do mine
Beautiful
weekly.
truck,
If I
but-
do Uber Eats deliveries, I do mine about once a week. So that's been kind of rough too, because it's now in the mid 40s, which was a lot for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Seeing, like, people don't realize, like, Trump made it easier for, like, even Grubhub drivers because he made it cheaper for gas and he made it easier for bus drivers, for taxi drivers,
Yeah.
for truck drivers, for many fields that required this and that. And it,
Lowered the price of gas and they could
Yep.
spend that money elsewhere.
and regular individuals, okay? It was about $1.50 cheaper a year ago.
It was. Absolutely.
Think about how much money you...
In California right now, it's like 7, right?
Yeah. I don't even know. We should pull it up. I would say it's probably even higher than
I
that.
think I'd rather kill myself than pay $8.
No, just
a
go
gas.
How
to a
could you
different
live in
state.
California?
You can't.
Right.
Do you really have this much money to blow? How do you,
Yeah.
like, you can't, I guess people have that many electric vehicles?
Something.
Yeah.
See, and that's where I keep, every once in a while, I get another person commenting and, like, DMing me about that gas tax post that I did. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I still get a lot of people every once in a while just hitting me up being like, I'd be against this or I'd be for it. And I'd be like, it might curtail California being able to do that. Because if we do a flat not a flat mileage tax, that might really help out.
Yeah. You explained it really well, because at first I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, like,
But it makes sense. The more you
Yeah.
drive and wear and tear the whole place.
yeah. And it's,
So the only people paying for all that wear and tear are people who are driving a gas
Yeah.
consuming car. Even though people in electric cars are still causing the same amount of wear and tear, they're not
Yeah.
paying for it because they're not paying that tax anymore.
mm-hmm.
So the per mile tax instead of the gas tax will ensure everyone is paying for it.
The issues with it is that, like, people get a little bit worried about, you know, underreporting and this and that. I say you just have it pulled from your insurance claims. Or not your insurance claims. Every year you have to file how much you drive.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So-
I mean, every year you have to get your car inspected in your different states, get the reading then.
Yeah.
Just take it when
Yeah.
it's plugged into a computer.
You have it reported into a public database, or not a public database, a countrywide database that tracks how many miles you
I know that I can write off my miles being an independent contractor.
Yeah.
So I don't know, would that cancel each other out?
No, I think they'd have to redo a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they would
have
redo
to
a lot of
redo.
that. You would probably still end up paying that, but you wouldn't pay
Yeah.
the gas taxes anymore.
Yeah.
If they make it so that way. See, the issue is that they could also put it on top, which would be a major issue.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Because
hope
then
not.
gas would be even more expensive.
Yeah.
Although, with the Treasury Secretary and some of the things that she's suggesting, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they did.
Yeah, that's why I made the point that, like, whoever isn't... They made a clause in the thing, in the bill, that whoever's in office as president at that time dictates what happens with it. That's why I say that it's a big issue. Like, if we have DeSantis, I have a feeling that this might actually be a way for us to win in that sense, where we might be able to get rid of gas taxes, lower many places gas prices, and just use a flat
Yeah.
tax for...
I like it, honestly. After you explained it, though, but at first it sounded horrible, especially for those who drive for jobs.
It didn't help that there were a lot of accounts that were fear-mongering it, because they weren't looking into the bill.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like that's a big thing that I take pride in. I want to present information. That was the ultimate goal of me creating S&P. I want to inform people. I don't want to. Yes, I have a bias, but I want to show you what the information is and what's presented. I don't want to just
Absolutely.
say this is. You know, that's why I go in depth with captions. That's why I go this and that, because I think it's important.
Like, don't
for people
trust
to
us,
know.
trust the sources.
I post how many times a week? You know how many news stories break per hour?
Right.
Wow.
It's just I can't keep on top. Nobody can keep on top. You know, there's so much things going on. There's so much access to information. Like, don't just
I
trust
love
me.
the internet, man.
Yeah.
Because then we're
It's
able to
interesting.
talk to you guys.
Oh yeah. It's a fun time. I'm happy to be doing this. I love this. This is the highlight of my week.
Heck yeah. So I definitely want to go back to talking about the specific people I wanted to mention. More Virginia women voted red this election. Maybe perhaps, Youngkin focused on education of children. There's been a lot of COVID garbage, as we all know. Kids had to be in and out of classrooms and had to go online. And, this talk of critical race theory that some schools are doing. And they're saying that it's a lie, too. And that parents lie.
I want to point this out. The guy who got arrested that we talked about a few weeks ago, Virginia. That happened in Virginia.
Yep. That's a good thing to mention.
The Virginia school board in, I forget exactly what county it was, literally denied that this rape happened in their school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of messed up things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One common notion for the Virginia election is that Mama Bear came out.
Mm-hmm.
Is that mothers came out and said, I'm putting an end to CRT. I'm putting an end to us furthering all of these woke BS left-wing
And
just
lies.
craziness. And they came out. They showed out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the books that show a lot of sexual things that children shouldn't be exposed to.
Why are you showing kids how to masturbate?
Yeah, why?
Right.
That's not something that they should probably just try to figure that out themselves.
Like we
Right.
did,
Like, it's not even that hard to do, really.
Yeah.
Like, why do you need to show them?
They're
Exactly.
kids.
It's sick.
Like,
It's
And of course it's
predatorial.
not the normal kind of sexual relationships
Right.
too.
No, they like
Which I have nothing against, but it's not the norm.
they look at you like you're crazy for not promoting sexuality in kids.
Yeah.
Right. Like, why does a 7-year-old
And some people
need to
don't
know
agree
how to
with
do
it.
this?
Like
Porn has an
you-
18 plus restriction for a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is not supposed to involve kids.
Nope.
Well, I've got to involve Matt.
Terrible.
Got to get all the kids ready for their trip to Epstein Island.
Did you wait?
Their class field trips.
You bring up a field trip. I forget what district this was. I'm sorry.
You're
This is
okay.
crazy off topic, but like it's exactly with. They took them to a gay bar as a school field trip.
Huh?
They took kids to a gay bar.
A bar.
A
and
gay
a gay
bar.
bar with sexual
As a
things.
yes, as a school field trip. With
Wow.
strippers and like
Right. And I'm sure drag queens too.
this is kids.
That's
What-
crazy.
hold on, I'm also saying
That's
what-
in the United States.
Yeah. Yes. What parents signed off on that? What parents said, "Yeah, take my kids to the
I
gay
I
bar"?
mean, I can
Remember
see that in Canada.
Getting like honor roll and stuff like that in like middle school, and we would go and our teacher that was in charge of that program was good friends with like the manager at the mall, and specifically like the Regal Cinema.
Oh.
And so they like rent out the whole theater just
Look
for
at
like the kids on honor roll and stuff.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they made such a big deal out of like the movies that we were allowed, like nothing over PG-13. Like it was so
Damn.
stupid.
Mm-hmm. What
And yet
movie?
they brought
Do
them
you
to
remember
a
what movies you guys
gay
ended up
bar?
watching? Yeah, they
No,
brought
I
these
have no
kids to
clue.
a gay bar.
I haven't even been to a strip club yet.
Well, there's a bunch of minors that have.
Yeah, I guess so, man. Oh, they already beat me to it.
I just,
And during
I'm
COVID.
disgusted by this.
Oh, even better.
This is why I want to homeschool my children. This
Yeah.
is why I want to figure something out.
Honestly,
in
it's
that
making
sense.
the option way more attractive.
This is disgusting.
It
I don't
is.
want my kids nowhere near this. How could you do this as a teacher? How
Yeah,
can you
so
be in your right
obviously
mind?
there's a lot of issues with parents right now and their kids in school. So like maybe perhaps Youngkin's competitor Terry McAuliffe shouldn't have focused on blaming parents for lying about critical race theory,
I don't get.
even though there were books about it.
Who is he appealing to there?
Right. Oh, but the best part is that he said, and I quote, "I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach."
Yeah, that was their whole
Oh, yeah. I think that's what
What?
got everybody out to be like, yeah, no, sorry, we're going red.
thing. That was the dumbest thing he ever said in his.
Yeah,
Like,
and all he talked about was Trump repeatedly, and we're tired with it. Trump's not in office.
Right.
Trump's not here.
No.
Goodbye.
Your
Like,
president's been in office for 10 months now.
Yeah.
He's screwing up this
destroyed
country.
everything, but Trump. Like, come on, dude.
It's just people should have paid attention years ago when they were doing this,
Yeah.
because it's becoming even more obvious now that because that was
It's
easy
so
for them.
concerning now.
So many people hated Trump that they just can play with people's emotions and say Trump, and people will jump. People will.
Yeah, people have actually gotten like some sort of PTSD with that word. Like it's an immediate emotional reaction.
Trump derangement syndrome.
But I majored in psychology. I don't know anything, Winsome Sears was the first African American woman and veteran to serve as Virginia Lieutenant Governor.
Yes,
So
I saw
yeah,
that.
if you care about race and stuff like that, plus it's Black history.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fair enough.
There you go. Virginia House of Delegates, some media outlets like the Virginia Public Access Project have projected a 51-seat Republican majority. So that's another, yeah, it is.
The silent majority right there.
Yep, there you go. And like we mentioned
over.
earlier, New Jersey almost won with Jack Ciacatari, whatever, I don't know.
I'm gonna say Ciatrelli.
And it sucks because I'm
Something
even
like
part
that.
Italian. I should be able to say some stuff, whatever. But Philip Murphy won his second term.
Sad.
I want to talk about this. Minneapolis votes majority no, but only by 56.17% on removing the police department.
Yeah.
That's not as high as I'd like it to be to say no to removing police.
At least they said no.
At least they said no, but we're at 56%. That's almost half people want the police
My
gone.
thing
Hey,
is,
hey.
if they want it, let them have it, and always give them the option to reinstate it. But let them do it to themselves.
Exactly.
Like, just let them
At this
wipe
point-
themselves out, kill off their own voter base, and then they have no chance ever again. But, whatever.
We're gonna get off. We're gonna get banned from YouTube again.
I think Biden is the one that... I think Biden's kind of killing their own voter base.
Yeah.
He's doing that for
Honestly.
them.
Smart. Well, no, they're having immigrants come over, like a lot of them.
They don't count.
So.
But
Oh,
they
yeah,
do
you're right.
mess with the census data.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, so I wanted to mention that as well. And New York City has Eric Adams as New York City mayor, which replaces de Blasio.
Yeah.
But I think he didn't even rerun. I didn't see him against him or anything.
Yeah.
He's still a Democrat, but will he be as far left as de Blasio was with, his vaccine mandates?
From his campaign, he seems a lot more chill.
He definitely seems a lot more chill. He says, practical is progressive.
Former police officer, if I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he
like
said
him.
he used to be in jail, too, so he's, learned from mistakes and stuff,
Hey, yeah. I mean, then again, of course, New York City is now being run by a criminal.
Well, here's what I want. I just want the mandates to be gone. And so I
Yeah.
can go back to New York City.
Yeah.
Because the last time I was there was 2019, so I was lucky.
We got
So,
lucky there. All right. Well, let's go into Bill Gates. He's a guy who happens to be a doctor.
Not really.
Yeah, they're
Self-proclaimed.
kind of giving those out to everybody.
Even college dropouts,
MD,
apparently.
PhD, same thing.
Yeah. Hey, if I can get my PhD next year, send it my way. YouTube, whoever. I don't know who it is. Just I'll take it.
Right.
But we're gonna go over a doctor who wants to tell you how to live, but doesn't necessarily want to help pay for the things that he wants. Now, I don't think that's the greatest of, moves for a guy like Bill Gates. So we're gonna pull up the actual document that Bill Gates created called Financing the Clean Industrial Revolution. So, yeah.
What?
Yep. This was recent too. So first we're going to cover the cumulative carbon dioxide emissions. So he first highlights that from 1751 to 2019, about 59% of cumulative carbon dioxide emissions occurred in high-income countries. So, United States, China, kinda, not really.
Not really, but that's weird. Isn't China and India the worst countries on this
Yeah,
planet for...
they're the top two carbon dioxide emitting countries.
Honestly,
Planet.
yeah, upper middle.
So they're just
income.
looking for what can fund it better, even though they're not the problem.
Yeah, no, they're gonna point out to us, and they're gonna say that we're the issue. Well, we might be the issue, but in reality, I believe the issue is the fleet of private jets that government officials must take to go to any summit that they have to go to.
And Bill
Yeah.
Gates and his billionaire friends.
Yeah. Why do all of these guys need private jets? You're telling me that one person flying on a plane is better than 150 people packing into a plane? You're going to tell me that that's not an issue, that your private jet is not an issue, when you're going to say that people shouldn't fly anymore? When you're going to say that people shouldn't drive certain cars that they like anymore? I think it's...
That sounds like Cuba to me.
Yeah. And the issue that I have with the billionaires pushing for action like communism, socialism, that type of stuff, is that who ends up on top in communism and socialism? The rich people who were there.
Yeah.
The only reason they're pushing
The
for
elites.
it is because they want to be the elites. The only reason you will ever push for communism is because you believe you will be a part of the elite group. You don't ever volunteer.
Or a better person.
You don't ever volunteer to be a part of, like, the bottom tier of any country.
Nope.
You don't volunteer to do that.
Did the Untouchables volunteer in India?
No.
Or what?
No.
India, right?
Yeah.
But it made a ton of sense for everybody up top. Oh,
Yeah.
this is great. No. Stop it.
Yeah, not how our country works.
The beauty of it is that anybody can do anything. If you have a decent idea, you have some work ethic, you can figure shit out. You can figure out how to trade stocks. You can figure out
Oh yeah,
how to...
once I believed that I was not a victim, I started looking into the options that I had, and wow, there's a lot of them out there.
Exactly. The victim mentality in this country is, I think, drives down any sort of chance of anything. It's stop saying that you're a victim and say that we're in the United States of America, where the roads are paved with gold and you have every opportunity in the world. Go get it. Go out, go do it. Stop, because anytime that you hear somebody of a minority group say about how they made it, they say, I didn't listen to the BS that said I could never get here. I did what I had to do.
Yeah, women too. Yeah.
Exactly. I worked. I got what I had to do. Because what is playing victim ever going to get you? It's just
Staying as such, yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I've realized.
If you have been wronged in your life, how can you correct that? How can you change your circumstances? How can you change your life to not be affected in that sense? And accountability is big.
Mm-hmm.
Accountability. I think we've lost a lot of accountability throughout the years of just...
Or responsibility for our own actions.
Exactly.
Let the government
Yeah.
decide what we do.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Stop letting the government gain more power and dictate, because we don't like this level of government, because they're dictating what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. Gates believes that we will be able to reach net zero by, I believe, 2050.
Oh, let's see.
Net zero? Like carbon
Net zero
emissions?
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, let's go into the breakdown of global sources of greenhouse gases first. So the largest chunk, they say, is manufacturing, which is cement at 6%, iron and steel at another 6%, chemicals at 5%, oil and gas production at 4%, and other as 10%. So, yeah, makes sense. I would have expected it someone to be a bit higher. I guess I didn't realize how much these other levels of, because we're going to go into the buildings, transportation, agriculture, and electricity. And I did not realize how diverse the level of greenhouse emissions, I guess. So the next chunk is electricity, which is 19% coal, 6% natural gas, 1% oil, and 1% other. So, everybody needs their fuel.
Yeah, no, when I watched YouTube videos on how electricity works, because I also had to do that to learn about how neurons worked, I realized, how much of it was made from stuff like carbon, that gave off carbon emissions.
Yeah. So, when he says that he wants to reach net zero, that's somewhat scary to me. Just because well, we'll go further into it, but he highlights instances where he does not believe that this is possible, but he still wants to do it anyway.
Makes sense. Let's throw money at it and see what happens. It always works when you throw a lot of money at something.
But he doesn't want to throw his money at it.
Oh, of course.
So Bill Gates cites that there's a shift in kind of what we're focused on, and he believes that that's what will get us to net zero eventually. And he believes that there will be enough of a shift, I guess. My only concern with it is that it doesn't seem very plausible that we'll be able to get that without sacrificing a lot of our own personal wants, when in reality they're not highlighting any ways that they're going to sacrifice any of their personal wants.
Or what are the solutions to the problems? Just let's make a problem with another problem?
Yeah.
Or replace a problem with another problem?
Yeah, no, they're going to highlight what factors we play into it, but they're not going to say, like, yeah, all of this other stuff, that's on us.
Right, like, you won't be
Or,
able to
you know,
take as
other
many
countries.
vacations or go and see your friends and family across the country as often.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to be able to use my private jet however much I want. Like, that's pretty much, I
Rules
could
for
see how
thee,
it's going
but
to be.
not for
Mhm.
me.
But that's already how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go to all of these summits. They say you shouldn't be flying in planes. You shouldn't be
Yep.
driving trucks. You shouldn't be driving this or that. What, Biden, he look at the motorcade. Look at how many
28
cars are there.
vehicles, something like that.
I'm pretty sure it's like 100 and something vehicles.
That's insane.
When he goes to like other countries and stuff, we have to pay for that. Those are emissions.
Not to mention the fact that they can't just take the beast from the White House to the airfield. They have to do, Marine One to the airfield. Then from Marine One at the airfield, they go to Air Force One.
They want us to pay more taxes. Why don't you stop spending?
Right.
Yeah, this is bad. This is out of control.
Why don't you just stop flying everywhere? Why don't you stop taking private jets to go
Right.
an hour to
Why
the
would they
hour
stoop
west?
so low?
Like, we can't leave our houses to go to work, but he can fly over an ocean to Glasgow for a conference. that
you know,
could have
or
been
wear
held over
masks
Zoom.
only when
Yes.
cameras
Like, he
are
could have fallen
shown.
asleep on a Zoom call instead of actually in person. It would have looked better.
That is also dictating the lives of millions and millions of individuals.
Mm-hmm.
While they are literally coming in on private jets.
Yeah. Although I did see a lot of people called out the hypocrisy on that.
Yeah, so what? It doesn't change anything.
No, it doesn't change it.
We're
but at
calling it
least
out.
People are calling it out.
Yeah, we're calling it out. I'm trying to call it out as much as possible. I say it anytime we're talking about climate, and anytime we talk about climate initiatives that certain billionaires and millionaires want to take, I point it out. Stop using your private jet. I'll gladly, I'll trade in my truck as soon as you stop flying around everywhere. As soon as you start putting up solar panels that can help everybody. As soon as you start doing things that help. As soon as you stop providing, because you guys are the biggest producers of greenhouse gases. Bill Gates points out in this article that cement is one of the leading creators of carbon emissions. And he talked about how buildings are mostly made with concrete. And it's like, well, then stop making buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you chill out, buddy?
Yeah.
Why
You
don't
have
you,
a
why
really
don't you
good
stop
point.
creating? Yeah. Why don't
Yeah.
you stop creating brick and mortar stores
Right.
instead of telling the mom and pops who are trying to make some money for their family, so that way their kids can go to college and then they can build some generational wealth. Instead of telling them that they can't purchase this
A building.
Yeah, a building because it's going to create too many carbon emissions, and they need to buy this green cement
And
that's
they
going to
bring
be
down the
3 times the
buildings
price.
anyway, so, I mean,
But
just another excuse to just spend your money.
hold on, but Bill Gates' entire thinking is go buy this green cement that is 3 times the price of regular cement because it's green. Who's going to be able to afford that?
Right.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with all of this climate change stuff. I understand it's an issue. Why don't they play their fair share? We're always talking about fair share. Stop with all of this emissions producing equipment.
They're horrible leaders.
Stop creating these factories that produce these carbon emissions. Stop doing all of this stuff. Why don't you chill out? You're a billionaire at this point. Why don't you stop and let small businesses handle this kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You're the biggest producers of
Like
emissions.
all monopolies at this point.
That's why whenever they tell us that you need to stop doing this, shut up. You need to stop. I'm not listening to you. If you're not going to take any steps and you're just going to try to tell people that they need to do this because of this climate initiative.
And they wonder why there's a red wave.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, how do you, like, it, to me, it seems very much like they want to be politicians and say, you need to do this, and I'm still going to get to enjoy everything that I want. You're going to make my life better. You're going to make my life easier. No. Why don't you help us out? You are a billionaire.
They literally work for us. They really do.
But I'm saying, like, Bill Gates. Bill Gates does not work for us. But, like, why don't you use your billions to help stop this stuff? I guarantee you he has enough money to stop climate change. And then Elon Musk can get along with that and say, oh, let's put an end to this issue.
Yeah, like world hunger.
It's these billionaires. They all flaunt that they want to be nice and this and that. And whenever somebody says, I love Bill Gates, I
don't understand.
It's because all they
Is there anything else about him besides this?
Oh, there's a ton of stuff. He owns, see, I was wrong about the 70% of farmers, of him owning 70% of farms. It's the 1% of farm. Well, 70% of farms is owned by 1% of people in the country.
Wow.
That was the statistic that I was, Gates, I believe, can we go back to the slides real quick? Because I believe I have the statistic up in there. I know I had it somewhere. Yeah. So Gates owns 242,000 acres of farmland.
Wow.
Which is totals 690 million. Nice. I just wanted to get that 69 in there. Nice. But yeah, that's Bill Gates. He wants you to use cleaner farming practices, but he doesn't care.
And basically own everything anyway.
He does. He also is very big. The other issue that I have with him running major farms now is that he's big into the Impossible meat and the, veggie burgers and the all of that stuff. And he's talked about how, like, he wants to make that the, like, everybody's got to have that. Like, that's the food that everybody should eat. I don't want to eat that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it does taste the same as meat. I've tried it. Yeah, no, really. Have you tried it?
Yes, I have. I love a big cow right between my hamburger buns.
Well, I'm sure steak wouldn't feel the same because I like my steak rare.
Absolutely. I love steak.
I love my steak rare, so it needs to bleed. So, I mean, I don't think Impossible Meat can do that.
No, I don't think Impossible.
No, but it makes good meatballs.
I will agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
I've had meatless meatballs. They're actually fire.
And I actually had chicken too, meatless chicken, and it actually tasted really good.
I'm pretty sure those meatless meatballs were also gluten free.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the World Economic Forum.
Of course.
But they released 8 predictions for what the world will look like in 2030. And one of them is that you will own nothing and be happy.
Yes. That is... Yes. And that's what me and my father both agree on this.
I was thinking about that.
Me and my father both agree on this. People need to be more into fixing things up around the house because the less we do that, the less we own homes. And the less we own homes, the less we have our own property, our own generational wealth. The less any wealth that we have.
The less we value capitalism.
Yeah, because if we're constantly renting, we don't get to own anything. That means that we're just constantly paying money for something that we don't ever get to possess. And it's not a good system for us. We need to purchasing property is a good way of living your life.
We need to put a priority on owning your property versus renting, but I don't think renting should really go anywhere. Because I mean,
No. I'm saying we need to encourage.
Yeah.
We need to encourage, buy your own house, fix it up, know how to fix at least certain parts of your house.
Right. Like, at least know the basics.
No, exactly. You don't need to know how to. You don't need to know
Real
how
estate
to patch
investing.
drywall and all that. But like, if you can fix some stuff around the house, like.
Right, like you have a clogged sink. Okay, I can fix that. You need to move your stove.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Oh, exactly. It's certain stuff like that. It's it's accountability. We've lost accountability. We need to be more on top of who we are. We need to be proud of being an American and say we need to.
Well, it's kind of hard when they teach kids in school to not really appreciate America.
Yeah.
I was a straight A student. I didn't appreciate America.
That they can't do it. They teach kids that they can't do it because of their skin tone. What? Stop.
That's horrible.
That is exactly like we need to do the exact opposite.
Maybe our next thing should be about the education system.
I would be down.
Very passionate about that. That's got to be like a 2 or 3 part. Honestly.
Absolutely.
Huge on it.
Education. Because in a lot of ways, that's what brought down McAloofy or whatever.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
McGoofy in
Rightfully
Virginia.
so, because parents should have a say, because, you work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's stopping them from homeschooling their kid?
Right.
Right. If you're elected in, that doesn't make you the boss.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
you weren't... Like,
You've
you
got
were
this
given
4
the
years.
position. You didn't create the position.
You've got 4 years.
Right.
You're out
Like,
after this.
That's, I think, something that they need to get through their thick skulls.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, you didn't create the position, so you're not in charge of that position.
They act like it's communism, but they don't realize that they can be voted out.
Yep.
Yet.
Yes.
2022. I'm excited for next year. We're going to be highlighting so many campaigns.
I'm just keeping it with a level mind, though. I don't want to have too much hope.
I get you. But
That's how I am, honestly.
But next, starting in January, we're going to start doing, at least once a month, we're going to do a candidate spotlight where we do episodes of just...
I like that.
We're going to talk about a few candidates that we like in certain places, and we're just going to, we're going to make people informed. Make people, hey, this is the guy. He's from this. He's done this. He's, or she's, I don't want to be sexist. I'm sorry, guys. I should have led with she. Should have led with they.
With they. They, them.
But you guys get the point, We're going to highlight, starting January, we're going to be highlighting many different candidates throughout, at least
I think that's a really good idea, because I normally don't stay informed like that,
No, exactly.
So I think it would be nice.
I think it's very important. I think, because the issue is, when we vote for, say, Trump, there are a bunch of other names on that ballot. And some people will only vote right. Some people will only vote left. There are some independents that are good.
Mm-hmm.
There are some different parties that
I've even voted for some Democrats too.
Exactly. I can agree with certain Democrats in certain senses.
Right.
If the Republican is a terrible candidate who's a crony establishment, terrible candidate, certain people could possibly get my vote. But I think it's important that people be informed, people know who's running, because do you guys remember in Kentucky? This Republican that ran, and I forget what position exactly it was, but they ran as a man, but they were like transgender demonic following. Yeah, after they won the election, they posted a whole big thing about how they were transgender, how they were I might be forgetting certain bits of the, something.
Honestly, though, if you look like that gender, I don't think why you should mention it unless...
Well, no, I'm saying, certain campaign promises that they made that completely contradict. I forget exactly what it is, but, there was also, but she was a demonic follower. She was literally, I think that was the big thing that,
Yeah, and you didn't even disclose that. I think that's illegal in some sorts.
But it was, hold on, think about it. Kentucky Republicans voting for another Republican because they thought that they were good Christian worshiping people, and it turns out literally follows the Church of Satan.
Yeah.
And like other, I forget exactly what other steps were like that they did not disclose to other people before the election, and then a few days after, like, haha, look who you just voted in.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that it's very important to me to spend the next year and just talk about certain people.
I think that's a really good idea.
Because I know there are hundreds of people, hundreds. I know there are millions of people who have no idea what name is on there, but they're just going to vote based on one way. So let's talk about some of these guys. Let's, we can bring them up. I have no problem with, I want to highlight some of these guys. Joe Kent. Joe Kent's a big name that I like. I like Joe Kent. He's going to be, he's Washington's 3rd district. So many districts in every place. But that's a name to watch that I really like. We'll probably do a show on him one day. Maybe if we even get it big, maybe we can even get some of these guys on. If they're somewhat
someday.
local. If possibly,
I can definitely
maybe.
see that.
Maybe for an interview or something, Always shooting for the stars.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Hell yeah. The more you do, maybe we can get some crazy people on here.
Like Alex Jones.
Okay, guys, I would absolutely.
No.
I would do it. I would absolutely do it. I would
do it for the meme.
Then again, our content is not in the same realm as Alex Jones.
Not at all.
Like, we're not, like, we have no desire to be like Alex Jones. Like, we like Alex Jones in certain aspects, but we have no want to be that kind of, this is a nice sit down chat.
Mm-hmm.
You'll like us, hopefully. Only in the news. Well, I would like to thank you guys for joining us this week. This has been an awesome podcast. I've been really happy to have everybody here. If you liked our video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. Turn on our bell notifications if you want to be notified whenever we post content. Anything else you'd like to?
No, I learned a lot about Bill Gates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was really excited for that one.
Yeah. Check this video out on the S&P website, possibly YouTube, and Spotify. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Woo.
And we're out.
I don't know your password.
Finger. Password is finger. Nope.
No, did not.
Well, actually.
There we go. You're not recording. Oh, yes, you are recording.
You're a dumbass.